In the last few classes, we've been talking about activities, and we have seen how to move from one activity to another. I'll explain those things again when we start the practical programs. Okay, we'll set a list of programs and then we'll start doing those programs. And while doing those programs, I'll go in depth of the code which we have written once again. Okay, but please note, guys, in the last class or the previous class also, my entire target was not to teach you the program, rather the flow of the activity. Okay, so the target of those programs were to teach you the life cycle of an activity, not anything else. So when we start an actual program, I'll go in depth of the code which we are doing. But right now, I'm not going in depth because I want you to understand how an activity works. That's all. Okay, so with that in mind, in today's class, my focus will be a little bit on resources. Okay, the resources folder which you see in Android Studio here, and how they make an impact in the code. Okay, that's what my focus on today will be. All right, and some of them had this issues, so most of you will face this issue later. So before that, I thought it's better to give an introduction and how this program flows. Okay, how this entire thing works. That is what I'm trying to tell you in this class. So before we begin that, let me just go to the code, what we had done already, not the activity lifecycle. I believe that you guys already know the activity lifecycle now. And please remember that in the next or the coming classes or the class test or whatever it is, activity lifecycle will be focused on. Okay, and my questions will not be what is on start, what is on restart, all those things. No, my question will be, if this scenario happens in an activity, what will be the lifecycle methods which are getting triggered. I think I've discussed almost everything. Remaining, I leave it to you guys. Okay, so you have to find scenarios in which your life cycle, or how the life cycle, activity life cycle will be called. Okay, now my questions for your exams or lab test or whatever it will be, okay, the MCQs part or even in theory, what will be asked is, if this scenario happens, what will be the life cycle activities getting triggered? So you guys should be aware and thorough of that. Okay, so take your time to understand or try to practice this, and make sure that you are an expert in activity life cycle before we move on to the real programs. Okay, so let me come into today's session. In today's session, what I'm going to discuss is about resources folder in Android. Okay, the resources folder which is here in Android, and how they are mapped and all those things. I've already discussed this in one of the classes, saying that all these resources are written in XML. Majority of the time these are XML. Okay, and some of the time you have actual data, raw data being there, like images, audio, video, all those things. I will take them as and when we go that level. Okay, but right now, what is already available in the resources folder, let's try to understand them and how they are getting, how they work together to give you a functionality. Okay, so let me start with the first folder there, drawable. Okay, let me just come back to that. It says drawable. Okay, what is drawable? I'm not going to the technical part, guys, but in simple words, if you want to understand what is drawable, okay, whichever has a UI, whichever is just an image, basically. To keep it in simple words, whatever is an image. Now the question will be, you told it is an image, but why is it showing an XML file? Okay, let me open that XML file for a minute. All right, you see the XML file is basically denoting a vector. Okay, a vector which renders the image like this. Okay, so the next question will be, why is it like this? Okay, why don't I have a .jpg or .png as a drawable, and instead of that there is an XML file? Okay, the XML file here makes sure that how do I say this? It is making it responsive. Okay, when I say responsive, it depends on the width and height of your icon. Okay, because this is an icon's background, this is icon's foreground. Okay, I'll just open that. This is the icon's foreground. I'm going to change this shortly. But what is the icon's foreground and what is the icon's background? Okay, these are all images which are written in XML file. All right, so even though they look like an XML file, basically when you render them, you will see a image. Okay, that's what I'm trying to tell you here. Okay, that's why it's called drawable. I'll tell you how this is mapped later, but normally this folder holds images. Just keep it as simple as possible. Not to be too technical, to keep it very simple, images will be kept here. And why images are kept here? Why don't you keep it on the top? Because anything apart from .java file, anything apart from a .java file should not be kept in this folder. Everything else will come into the resources folder. Remember that. Okay, let's keep this on hold. Let's open the second folder, layout. Okay, what is layout? You guys by now would have a good idea about what is the layout. It is nothing but the UI. What you see, this is my first layout, activity underscore main, and the second layout, which did not have anything. I've not put anything here yet. It's just blank. Okay, so two XML files. If I open the XML files code, it is just basic XML, nothing fancy here. Okay, it's just simple XML if you open this and see. But basically, when you render this XML returns a neat design. Okay, which allows you to design without even knowing Java. There is no need for a programming language's knowledge when it comes to designing in Android. You don't require a programming language idea. All you need to know is drag and drop, first of all. Second thing is changing the attributes. And third thing is that you should understand how the hierarchy, the structure of your design works. That's all. Okay, so let me zoom in a little bit. Okay, so here. That's how your app should look like. This is also declined or determined here in XML file, not in the Java file. All right. But here I want you guys to remember one small point which I've highlighted again and again when we did the program. This XML file also gets converted, or it gets transformed into a Java file, so that Java can interact with the items which you have put in the resources folder. Okay, so keep that in mind. I'll come back to that shortly. The next one, what you see, is called a MIP map folder. What do you call a MIP map? A MIP map is an algorithm basically. Okay, I'm not again going into technical part. In simple words, MIP map is an algorithm. For what? It's an algorithm which automatically determines the size of the icon. Okay, the size of the icon based on the device in which you are deploying it on. Okay, MIP map is an algorithm by which your images adapt. Okay, adapt in the sense, like for example, let's say that I'm creating an icon for a phone. Okay, you guys know this already. Earlier we used to have a simple phone which has 2 megapixels, 1.5 megapixel phone and all we had. Okay, we used to take pictures in that also. Now we have phones which have 32, 64, 128 megapixel camera which are there available with you. Okay, but what is the difference? You still take a picture only. Alright, so if you ask the difference, you will immediately say the clarity, right? Okay, so if you take a picture in a 1.5 or 2 megapixel camera and zoom it, there is a limit in which you can zoom. After a particular time, after a particular limit, if you keep zooming, you lose the quality of that image. Okay, so just think that I've created a small icon which will fit for a phone. Okay, and taking that same icon image, and icons are all images, right? So when I deploy that on a TV or a bigger screen, what happens to that icon? The icon tries to get expanded to the size of the TV. When it tries to expand, as you know, when the zoom level goes high, the icon's clarity, okay, in other words, we say DPI. What do you mean by a DPI? DPI is dots per inch. Okay, so you see that every thing, how the dots are connected here. Okay, so how an image is shown is basically when you print it out, it's all dots only, dot matrix, and you would have seen that. Okay, so when it comes to an image, if I choose a small size image and then try to deploy it on a large screen, okay, it might not look good, but the reverse might look good, but still it will take so much of space. Like for example, I have a 2 MB image, but I'm going to display it in a small circle, which is not even half an inch of your screen size. You can see how big your icons are there on the phone. Okay, so that much level, if I'm keeping a 2 MB file, that is again going to be heavy, because just for that I'm going to create this. No, that is not right. So what is the solution here? The solution is find what is the clarity or the resolution of your phone, and then give an icon which matches to that particular resolution. Alright, so how will I do that? I use something called MIP map algorithm. So what will MIP map do? I hope you guys can see the screen. I'll just zoom into that particular place. Okay, it chooses what is the DPI of the phone. Find the DPI of the phone and map a particular icon which matches to that particular phone's DPI. It's a high definition DPI, you have medium, you have extra high definition. Okay, you have double X, triple X, like that. You have a lot of icons available here. I'll show that shortly. This is normal icons, round icons. Both are same basically, and they are generated. By the way, I'm not writing code for this because MIPMAP is an algorithm. It generates these PNG files. Please note it is a PNG here. PNG means it's an image file, right? But this is HDPI, MDPI, XHDPI, like that it goes on like this. Okay. So now where does this come into picture? Okay. So let me just change and show you how we are using it. I am going to change the launcher icon of this particular app. Normally this icon launches with one green color background and an Android symbol. Okay. You would have seen this in the emulator here. This is the icon, right? This is the normal icon of a my app, what we created, Hello World app. Okay, so now you see here the background is a green color image and the foreground you have a Android icon. That's all, nothing else is there. This is the launcher icon, so when I tap on it, it opens my particular app. But now let's say that I want to change it, because see, others have used different icons for their apps, right? So let me see that if I want to change the icon of my app, the launcher icon of my app, what should I do? Okay, for that you need to understand what is IC underscore launcher. It is just a simple way what I said, icon which is used for launching. Launcher icon, how do you put it in code? IC underscore launcher. Okay, just map it. This is nothing but this. So let me just open it and see. Okay, so if I double click on the PNG file, you see this is 72 into 72 PNG, 32-bit color, 3.58 KB. I hope you can see this on the corner. Okay, what is this PNG? Width is 72, height is 72, 32-bit color, and this is the size of this particular file. All right, now let me open that XXX HDPI. Okay, it's a little bit bigger. The icon size is 192, 192, 10.65 KB. Okay, so let's see how all these icons are generated, but it doesn't matter for us. You see that bottom you have any DPI .xml. Okay, that IC launcher as an XML file. It automatically adapts based on whichever launcher matches to your adaptive icon. What do you mean by adaptive? Adapts to the size of your device. Let's say, for example, if you choose medium, it will take the particular image. If it is XXX or XX or whatever it is, okay, square or circle or rounded corner, whatever it is. Okay, so square or circle, square plus circle, all those things. So whatever you want, you can pick it up and you can work on it. That's the idea. That's the MIPMAP part doing here. So let me show you. If I don't want this icon, what if I want to create my own icon? Okay, for every app, I recommend you guys create your own app. Sorry, your own icon. Okay, for every app which we generate, if you keep running as it is, you'll get the same icon for all the apps. Only thing is, title will be different. Okay, so but what if I want to create my own unique icon? It's very simple, guys. No need for coding here also. So just right click on this MIPMAP or anywhere in the folder, new, choose image asset. Okay, I'm just right clicking on MIPMAP so that you know that this is where it will all get modified once again. So I've just right clicked on MIPMAP and I've clicked on new and I'm going to click on image asset. Please note the word image asset, not a vector asset right now. I'm just going to choose an image asset. Once I choose this, I get this particular dialog. Okay, I want you guys to focus on this dialog. First question which the system asks is what type of icon would you like to talk to? Okay, first of all, it says launcher icon, but please note launcher icon is already there. This is the launcher icon. Okay, it is already there. So at the bottom, I wanted to read the warning. An icon with the same name, IC underscore launcher, already exists, and whatever changes you do here will be overwritten. Okay, this is what is a warning already given to you, which means when you open an Android Studio project, by default, this will be the icon. Whether you name the icon, name the app as Hello World, or you name the app as WhatsApp, you name the app as Instagram, doesn't matter. Whatever name you give to the app, this will be the icon which will be automatically coming. So now what if I would like to change it? Okay, that's where I'm going. Before that, let's also see what are the other types of icons required while you're developing for Android. Number one is the launcher icon, which is very simple. And there are two choices, legacy and adaptive. And automatically this is chosen adaptive and legacy. What do you mean by legacy? Simple words. Just remember that legacy means old ones. Okay, the old phones. Legacy. Remember that word, legacy. Okay, it just means older versions. All right, what is adaptive then? Based on, this is adaptive. Let me just show you. Okay, see here it says XHDPI. Let me just change it to MDPI, medium. Okay, it changes the size. This is MDPI icons. Okay, and I want you guys to notice where and all these icons are. If you're basically, it depends on the theme of your phone. not a particular phone, guys, any Android phone. Okay, some phones theme will be circle icons, some will be a little bit that square plus circle, rounded square, square exactly, but then that not the words exactly. It looks somewhat similar to the rounded square, but only edges are curved. Full bleed layers, legacy icon, old phones, smaller icons, round icon for the old phones, Google Play Store. Play Store, what are the icon will go. All right, so it is very tedious if I am sitting and creating these icons one by one. So what system does, it uses an algorithm called MIP map, which makes sure that you give me the image or you tell me how you want the icon. I will generate the remaining things. That's what we are going to do. So MDPI, HDPI is a little bit bigger. Double X is a little bit bigger. Triple X is the biggest one, which you normally use for TVs and stuff. Okay, so these are the ways in which you have your icons. You can just scroll through and see same names, but the size will be different based on what type of DPI you are choosing. Okay, I hope this is clear to you guys. So let me just keep MDPI so that everything is visible on the screen, and let me just go and see what are the other types of icons available. Okay, apart from this icon, you also have first two are launcher only. Okay, never choose legacy because legacy means only old phones. Okay, this one. But if you choose adaptive and legacy, any phone, old one, new one, whatever it is, any more, whatever phone is going to come, whatever it is. Okay, this is why we choose this launcher icon. Next is action bar and tab icons. Okay, so wherever the action, what is action bar? Okay, let me just show you that here in the emulator. What is an action bar? Okay, when you launch an app, this is the action bar. All right, and below that will be your actual app, whatever you are putting here. And top of this, what you see, these things right now, for example, there are two applications which are showing notifications, and their icon is also there on the top. When I move them, you see there are two icons here. So this icon is called notification icon, and the icons which come here and the tabs, if at all you have, they are called action bar and tab icons. Okay, I hope you got the difference between the words which have been used. So let me just open it once again, image asset. And here I want you to just notice the types of icons which are there. First one, I think I've already explained enough. Action bar and tab icons. What icon would you see on the action bar? Okay, so this is the icon which you will see in the action bar based on which size of device are you deploying it on. Next will be notification icon. So what will you see on the notification bar if this app, your app, generates a notification? What icon will you see? Okay, this is the icon which will be shown by this app. Okay, on the notification bar. That's why it's called notification icon. Okay, this is one. Okay, so moving on, TV banner, okay, and TV channel icon. This is not going to bother us right now, but then if I choose a TV banner, okay, what do you mean by a TV banner? Okay, normally when if you have used this Android TV or Fire TV or MI TV stick, okay, all these things, you would see that the icon, okay, I think I can just show you there. Let me just see Fire TV or anything for that sake. Let me just open the images. Okay, so here you see this is a banner icon. What you see here is a banner icon of this particular app. Okay, for example, Netflix app is running in an Android Studio, or sorry, Android TV or MI TV. Probably this is MI TV. Okay, so the app here, what you see has a banner. This is not called an icon. This is called a banner icon. Okay, so that is what we are trying to do here. This is a banner icon. Okay, this is only for TV. That's why it's called a TV banner. And also TVs also have something called channel icons, which some of the TVs show as a icon itself, not as a banner. In that case, TV channel icon, adaptive, legacy. Okay, these are the different types of icons which are available as image asset. Okay, remember that. So let me just go to the one which I came for, launcher icon. Number one, I will not change the name because I want to replace the already existing icon, this, with my own design. Okay, so I want you guys to notice here there is a foreground layer and there is a background layer. So this image, what you see here as a foreground as well as a background. Foreground is this Android's head icon. Behind what you see is the green thing that is actually an image as a background image. Okay, keep that in mind. So let me just go to the foreground layer, and let's say this layer has a name called as IC Launcher Foreground. If you guys remember, where is this IC Launcher Foreground stored? It was there in drawable. Let me just show that. Let me open that and keep. Okay, so that you can analyze it as and when we are writing it. Okay, so let me just go to image asset once again. Now I want you guys to notice foreground layer's name is IC Launcher Foreground. IC Launcher Foreground. Okay, background, IC Launcher Background, IC Launcher Background. So these are the different things which are available. So in the foreground layer, I'm going to keep the foreground layer name as it is. Initially, right now it is an image which is shown here. Okay, the image is the icon, but if you want, you can also look for an image. I leave it to you guys. Or if you just want text, okay, like this. If you want only a text to be there, you can type whatever text you want. Let me just type AIMIT or something. Okay, so I decide what it is. Okay, and what font you want. Okay, so I leave it to you guys. This is just a text. Okay, you can keep anything, what color you want for that particular text. Okay, you can choose any color. I leave it to you. Okay, this again comes under us. We choose how you want this particular text. If you want an image, you can choose an image. If you want a text, you can choose a text. Apart from that, what if I don't want an image as well as I just want a clip art? Clip art, I can also say icons. Okay, whatever you want. Let me just click on clip art, and if I open the clip art, you'll see different types of clip arts are available under Apache license. Okay, you can see a lot of icons which are loaded here. You can search for icons. You can search for whatever you want. Let me just search for Android, and you see that Android icon is also there. If you want, you can choose that, or you choose any icon you like. Alright, so I leave it to you guys. Let me just choose infinity icon. Let me just choose that. Some icon. Okay, I leave it to you. Whichever icon you like, choose that. Alright, and what color you want for that particular icon. That also you can choose. Okay. You choose the icon of the color of the icon or an image or a text. All these things are your source's asset. Okay, whatever source of image you want to show in the foreground. Background is still not touched, guys, because it's still green color. It's still with that lines and all are there. The background is as it is. I'm not touching the background because I'm only talking to the foreground layer. And do you want me to trim it? Yes or no? This icon doesn't make a difference because it doesn't touch the corners of your image. So let it see as it is. You can also resize that image how you want it. Do you want it to be very small or you want it to be too big? Okay. Again, if you say trim, it should be inside. I leave it to you guys. Okay, how you want it. Okay, so which icon you want on the foreground. So you can see how it will look in different sizes. So I can just also choose MDPI so that you can see all in one line. Okay, so this is how all your icons will look like. If you don't like it, you can obviously change it. I leave it to you guys. Okay, so let me just keep it as white. Now, let me go to the background color. So this is the foreground, guys. I hope you understood what and all happened here. You can choose an image, you can choose a clip art, or you can choose a text. Okay, I leave it to you guys. Now let me go to the second one, background layer. Okay, I'll not change any of the layers name because I want to replace already what is existing. So I'll not touch it. Okay, here you can see again the color. Background color or image. There's no much option here. You cannot put an icon again here because you're looking for the background layer. The background layer can be an image or just a color. Okay, so you can keep an image itself as the background, or you can keep the color itself as the background. Okay, so that both I leave it to you guys. Okay, so that is one. Now let me just choose a color instead of an image. I can choose a color. Now you see there's a small difference. Okay, image is like this, color is like this. You can choose your own color, whichever color you like, you can choose that. Okay, so I'll just choose a blue color just for a demonstration. I'll choose any other color. Okay, and then click on next. That's all. So these are the foreground and background. I can change. So I can modify the icon as in how I want it. Okay, so if you want to keep, if you want to create an icon which will look like WhatsApp, you can obviously do using this small menu without, there's no programming involved. It is just basically your creativity which comes into picture. So guys, I will be only explaining this in one class because it's not something which needs explanation. You can just experiment, try and error and find what and all are the ways in which you can create an icon. But anyway, I'll go to the next step. Okay, I'll leave other options as it is. Okay, so I'll not touch all these things because it's all are yes only. I want a legacy icon. I want you to generate a round icon. I want you also to generate a Google Play Store icon, whatever it is. So I'll not touch the options part, only background and foreground layer. I'll also not change any names which are available as name and layer name. Nothing I'll change. I'll click on next. Here in the screen, it will show you what are the things it is replacing. It is replacing whatever is there in IC launcher foreground.xml, IC launcher background.xml, okay, and all the launcher icons which based on their own size we are modifying. All these are replacing. Let me just click on finish. Done. So now if you open the IC launcher and see what is the launcher icon of your app, it is this. Okay, so let's launch it simultaneously so that we can see what is happening. Okay, and if in case it is not changing, somewhere we have kept the old data as it is. Okay, so that is what the map part is doing. That's what I wanted to tell you first in this class. And the next thing what I want to focus on is the next folder, which is values folder. Okay, so before I go to that values folder, let me see whether my app is getting installed. It is installed. Let me not run it. Let me just come out. Okay, and see the app. Okay, so here it changed into blue color, but it did not give me my icon because somewhere that Android icon is still existing. Okay, I'll just reset and install it. It will work. I'll do that in the next part because I don't want to waste time uninstalling this. Let me go to the next part, values. Okay, so you see the values here is a little bit. Yes, okay. The values here are a few things are there already inside and we have not used anything so far right now. Okay, now I want you guys to focus on a few things only. All right, right now I'll not take anything much from here. I'll emphasize values folder once again when we start working with programs. Okay, but basically there are some words which I wanted to notice. One is colors.xml. Okay, so this is like most of you would have worked with CSS. Okay, so what you determine in the CSS, how you determine the color palette of your website, CSS will declare it and your entire website will be able to apply that color in your website because you have mentioned it in CSS. Something like that is this color.xml. Okay, so basically you can see what are the colors my app provides by default. You can also add your own color. Okay, just give a name for it and a value for it. Okay, that's it. So this is what is your resources. By the way, it's again inside a folder. I mean, it's a root element is called as resources. Okay, values. This is colors. Then the second thing which I want you to focus today, I'm going to stress on this is strings.xml. Okay, I'll be taking up another class in which we'll be talking about internationalization. But today's class, I thought this is in relevance to what you guys have already done before. I'm going to give that. Some of you have got issues with setting text on text boxes as well as labels and stuff. I thought I'll explain why that issue came by this way. Okay, so here you see there is something called resources, string resource, strings.xml, name something they have given, value something they have given. Okay, now I want you guys to come back to design. Since main activity is already filled with the data, I'll not touch main activity. Let me come to second activity, which is right now blank, nothing is there. So let me go to the design. Let me just zoom in a little bit. Okay. Now, I want you guys to notice that nothing is there right now. No errors, no warnings, no messages are there. Okay, so first thing what I'm going to do is I'm going to just drag and drop a text view, a label. Okay, I'm going to just drag and drop one label onto my screen. Once I've dragged and dropped a label, I'm also going to set the constraints. I'll say info constraints. So left, right, top, bottom, all constraints are applied. Now let me go to the attributes and I'll also name this or remove that text view. I'll just say hello world from second activity. All right, that's it. I've only done that much. Let me just give a little bit bigger size for it. Okay, fine. I've just given a simple design here. Okay, nothing else is there. Nothing is on the screen except for a label. And I've also inferred constraints. But I want you guys to notice on the corner, it says warning. Okay, so let me just open. What is that warning? Okay, no errors. So I did not bother much. But let me also understand what is that warning. Okay, I want you guys to read that word. The text of that error or the warning is hard-coded text. Okay, hard-coded text. Okay, let me just open that and let me just read what does it mean. Okay, hard-coded string hello world from second activity should use @string as resource. Okay, so they have also given you why you should not do it. Okay, when creating configuration variation like landscape portrait, you have to repeat the actual text and keep it up to date while making changes. Number one issue. Number two is the actual highlight. The first one can be ignored also. I wanted to read the second line carefully. The application cannot be translated to other languages by just adding new translations for existing string resources. This is the technical word they have used. Let me tell you in simple words, what does it mean? Okay, if I hard code, okay, it's showing a warning, guys. Why is it a warning? Because it's not an error. You can still run, no problem, no issues will be happening from my app. Okay, so what is the issue of what your system is reporting and saying it is hard coded, so I might have some issues. Okay, what is the problem here? You need to understand that we are, as developers, should target the entire world as a whole for our market. Okay, you cannot target only people who speak English. That's a big dilemma which we have, because not the majority of the population in the world will be able to read and understand English. Okay, not everybody needs to, because they want to use an application, they want to talk to their friends, they want to do interactions. Okay, they want to do a video call, they want to do an audio call, whatever it is. Okay, they need not learn English for that. They just want to talk to their own relatives or friends. Language should not be a barrier. So when we develop an app, we should not target our app to only work with a particular language. Okay, so how do I fix this issue? All right, now for example, what I've written here is hello world. Okay, or let's say hello. If I just put the word hello, I want to, if the user says that my phone should have all the text in Kannada. Okay, so when the people who see hello here in English, in Kannada, they should see namaskara. Okay, that should be there. It should not say hello again in English. All right, so I hope you follow. So if I wanted to create an app which will change the text, what I have written here, based on the phone's language, that is my achievement. Okay, that is what is called as internationalization, which we'll be talking separately in another class. But I want you to remember, I'll talk about the languages and stuff in another class. But here, all I wanted to remember is this is not the right way of doing it, even though in our programs, in other words, like in my class, we will be following hard-coded text. But when you are developing professionally, right now we are developing for our understanding, guys. We are learning. So this I need not focus on much. But when you are going to develop a professional app, okay, you cannot say my app will be completely in English. Okay, if the scenario demands like that, yeah, fine. If you say that your target audience are all people who know English, then no problem. Okay, but if you're targeting people who, for example, you would have seen most of your chatting apps, inbuilt, they have a language support. Okay, you can choose languages and they keep adding support to languages. So do you think every time they add a new language support, they'll come and click on this control and change the attributes and then change it? No, that's a tedious process. So Android Studio has given you a simpler way in which you can support many languages. Okay, any language for that sake. All right, by just writing it in resources, not writing it here in the code directly. So what are the two issues what your system shows you? Number one is that hard coding will make sure that you have to redraw or recreate this particular text every time you repeat the actual text. Okay, and to keep it up to date while making changes to the program is becoming very tedious, because you have to go to each and every activity which uses the text and change it. Now, that's first one. Second one, it says translation to other languages will become a problem. Now, how do I fix this? How do I make it efficient? Write all the text which is involved in your app in one place and monitor it from one place, rather focusing the text on a particular activity. Put all the text of all activities, all services in one place. Okay, this is what I want you guys to remember, and that one place is called as strings.xml. Okay, now like for example, they have put hello world here. What if I want to call that hello world here in second activity? All I need to do is click on this, go to its attributes. Instead of typing the text directly, okay, please note I have not typed the text directly. Instead of that, let me click on this small icon which is right next to it and look for string hello world. There is already a string called as app underscore name. If you remember that, when I opened strings.xml, there is only one tag. Can you see this? This is the root element. Do not bother about it. Inside that, they said string name is equal to app underscore name. Value is hello world. Okay, so let me open once again second activity. I'll click on that text box, okay, or text view. Let me click on this and choose app underscore name. You can see a preview. Name of this tag is app underscore name. How do you refer it? You use the word at string slash app underscore name, and by default it is configured as value hello world. So if I click on OK right now, you see the word hello world is coming in the label. No warnings. All warnings have disappeared because you have used a string resource instead of hard coding the text on a text view. Okay, please keep this in mind. Now the second question would be, what if I don't want hello world, I want hello world from a second activity? What should I do? Go to strings.xml. Let me create another string. Okay, just like how it is there on the top. Let me just create a string. Name is equal to, I'll just say second underscore name or something like that. Give whatever name you want. That's this name, what you see is a key. Okay, it's a key by which you are going to access it. That I leave it to you guys. However you want, you name it. Now I am typing hello world from second activity. Okay, I've written this in a string resource. Now let me go back to second activity. Here it already says hello world. Let me go to attributes. Let me choose that same button. You will see that the second one which I created has come here. If I click on that, it says name of my string resource is second underscore name. How do you refer it? At string. At string means at this particular resource, okay, slash second underscore name. By default, the value which comes from that is hello world from second activity. Let me just click on OK here. I've got the text and also no errors, no warnings, nothing. My program is clean now. Okay, so why does this happen? Okay, let me put another text view below it. Okay, let me clear the constraints and then again add constraints. So now I have got no errors, but there is one warning. Okay, there are two labels there, but one warning. Why two labels and one warning? Because the first label data comes from string resource. So no errors, no warnings. Second text view, which you see, okay, has the text hard coded there. Text view. Okay, so this is an error. Or sorry, not an error, it's a warning. Okay, what is it warning? It warns that in other phones where English is not the language, this will still be shown in English only. Whatever you have typed here will be shown as it is. That's all. Okay, so how do I fix this? Just type at string, okay, and put a slash. Then you'll get, this is through code also you can write. That's why I'm showing this one like that. Okay, I can choose whichever program I want. I choose app underscore name, and hello world came in the second label and no warnings now. I hope you guys found what is happening here. Okay, it's very essential to understand what is the resource. Okay, not only this guys, there are a lot of resources available. I've only given you a preview of what is happening. And now coming back to why I took this right now instead of taking it in internationalization class is in one of the previous classes I have told you that all resources in Android Studio, when they get translated or transformed into Java, will have a unique ID, will get a unique ID by which you call it. Okay, like here, I'll just open this guys for a minute. Okay, I want you guys to I think I'll start with second activity because it's a little bit less code. I want you guys to focus on this line of code. Okay. I'll just comment it out, and below that I'll write the same code once again. I'm going to call set content view. Okay. Now to understand why I'm telling this, you need to understand what is a constructor overloading. Okay, or method overloading. Constructor I think we can take later, but overloading, I guess you guys know what is overloading. What is overloading? Same method name but different parameters to be passed. You guys can see that set content view is a method. There are 3 overloads to that method. Okay, I hope you guys can see that, right? I've just highlighted and kept it there. I want you guys to notice this and understand what and all can I pass as parameters to this particular method called as set content view. All right. Why am I calling it as methods? First of all, M is there. You guys can easily note that it is method one. Second thing is that it follows camel case. Also, it is an action set. Okay, so I can easily say that this is a method. But please note, what are the parameters I should pass? Okay, there are three overloads to the same method name called as set content view. This is called as method overloading. Method is same, parameters are different. So based on what you pass as parameter, okay, I will call the appropriate method. That's all. Method name is same. Keep this in mind. Now, what am I going to pass? Okay, please note what is passed here. r.layout.activity underscore second. Okay, so let me just type view. I'll not tell what I'm passing because I do not know. I have three choices. One, I can pass. I want you guys to notice that word layout resource. Okay, but the word is a little bit more clear. Layout resource ID. What type is it expecting? Integer. Understand this, guys. Okay, how do you get this? From where do you get this? You get this from the Java file which gets generated as resources.java. In short form, we call it as r.java. So you see the line which is written on top. It says from R. Okay, so let me just open R. Okay, and find out what is R. R is a class. I hope you guys can see that. Okay, whenever I put R, what icon comes in my IDE is C. C stands for class. R is a class. Okay, dot. I'll follow what is written on top only. I'm just writing it as it is. Layout. What is layout here? Class. So if a class is inside a class, we call it as a subclass. So layout is an inner class which is there inside the class called R. Okay, so let me just call layout and dot. What did they say here? Okay, activity underscore second. So I'm going to choose activity underscore second. What does it return? Okay, I want you guys to notice that. What does it return? It returns an int. Okay, what is that int? It is nothing but this number 13000019, all those things. It will be random, guys. It will be different in your system. It might be different in my system. Once I choose this, which overloaded method of set content view did I call? I called the second one which said pass me a, give me a minute. Yes. Okay, so what have I called? I've called set content view, which takes three parameters. Okay, three overloads are there. I have passed an integer. So what am I passing actually? I have passed a layout resource ID. Okay, so there is a layout folder here, and inside that there is a activity underscore second dot XML. This resource now is identified by a unique number which r.layout.activity underscore second gave me. Okay, so please understand that it is a resource ID. I hope this is clear to you guys. Okay, so I'll keep it as it is. No issues with the code which is written. This is what automatically written. I didn't write anything here. Okay. Now I want you guys to notice at this particular part, main activity.java. Okay, here there is one part where I did not focus on resource much, but then you have to focus is this line. Okay, let me just, I hope I need not explain the entire thing once again, but I want to just focus on this. It says, I'll just comment this line and then below that I'll write this result label dot set text. Again, I want you guys to notice the overload which is available for set text. Can you guys follow this? What are the overloads available for this method? Method is same, set text only. What are you passing to that? Okay, there are different overloads. I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 overloads are there for the same method called set text. Remaining have something else like text appearance, a classifier, color, all those things. That we leave it. Just look at the word set text. 5 times it's repeating. But what you pass inside it is different. Okay, so I want you to ignore the next 3. Only look at the first 2. That's very important for me. Okay, this is very important, guys. Okay, why I'm telling this is you will make a mistake with this. What happens when I pass a number here? Okay, so what happens when I pass a sequence of text? Okay, so both returns void, so nothing will happen. Okay, but when it comes to set text and I type something here in the bracket, okay, if I type a string, it thinks you are calling this overload method, which will take everything what you pass in this bracket as a sequence of characters. In other words, string or text. But If I pass one number here, let's say 50, which overloaded method is it highlighting? It is highlighting saying that int resource ID. It thinks you are targeting a resource with an ID called 50. And if I don't find this ID called 50 in your program, okay, then I'll throw an error because I'm trying to set the text on a control whose ID is 50. I'm not able to find that. Okay, so why did I put 50 here instead of if I put C here? Some of you have tried this, right? You try to put the value of C here in the set text because you want to just display the value of or the sum of the two numbers in this particular label. So you say set text C. This will not work. Okay. Why will it not work? Very simple answer. Look at the overload. Okay. Look at the overload which is passed to set text. Okay. One, I told you to focus on only two. One is character sequence text. Another one is int resource ID. So if you pass an int, it automatically assumes that it is a resources ID. But if you pass a text, it doesn't think anything. It just prints whatever you have passed as a text. Okay, so that is why I put the double quotes and said result is equal to. Okay, that's why I added that so that there's no issue. But if you directly wrote C and you want to write only C, okay, it will not throw any error. Why is it not throwing error? Because int C is part of your overload. Okay, please note the moment I chose C, where the highlight came into picture. Okay, it came to this line where it says string resource ID as int. So it is trying to call, for example, you gave 5 and 5 as the input, output is 10, C is 10. So it is trying to find a resource which has the ID as 10. And when it does not find that resource, it will throw an error and it will come out of the program. So how do I fix this? Okay, number one, you write double quotes and you say result. Like this, if you write, when I concatenate that with C, okay, please note this is not a integer. This, when you concatenate this, okay, basically the moment double quote comes into picture, it becomes a string. No changes in that. Okay, but if you don't want anything, I just want the number to be printed. What should you do? Okay, very simple. Just put C, concatenate that with double quote. That's it. Don't put anything. Come out. What have you done? You have tricked the compiler into thinking that you have passed a string, but basically you have passed a number. Okay. Since when you concatenate something with a string, it automatically converts it into a string. So multiplying anything with 0 will make the number into 0, right? Similarly, you concatenate that with the string. This is right now considered as a string. But if I leave it as C, okay, I'm talking to a resource ID. This is the problem which most of you faced if you directly try to set the text as a number. So do not set the text as number. Always concatenate that like this or make the label tell result colon concatenate that with C. Fine. This is fine. I hope this is clear to you guys. Alright, so this is why I said whenever you write a method, please do focus on what are the overloads of that method. Be very careful of that. What and all parameters the method requires from you, what will it return? Remember that, read that, then write the code. Never be in a hurry to write the code. Okay, so with this, I'll stop for today, guys. If you have any questions, please do ask.